Sunday morning live stream at the Thrive Like a Viking headquarters on this beautiful, foggy, cloudy day. So, guys, we got a good one today. We got a question from you guys talking about, I don't have the exact question here, but it was one of you guys that asked about, hey, can we talk about protein powders and supplements? What kind of supplements should we be taking? What are your thoughts on protein powders and stuff like that? So I have a lot of thought on that, okay? Because I've got vast amount of experience with that kind of stuff over the years. I used to work at Vitamin World when I was younger, and I was all into bodybuilding and stuff, and taking every supplement you could think of, and personal training, helping people with their workouts and their diet regimens and stuff. I did a couple bodybuilding shows, when I was young and stuff like that. So, it's just something I've always been into. And so we will talk about that how it pertains to this new lifestyle, this new, what we are now. Okay. So let's see who is here. What's up, Sam Potzik? Good morning, Jody K, Erin Johnson, Val. Yes. Hello. Simmering some chaga mushrooms from North Spore. Nice. Nice. Teets says, Nate, may I suggest you change the load-in screen to reflect the proper day time? I am not sure what you're talking about, but let me know. Terry Aslizlo. Hello, my friend. Good to see you here. Shikota Carver takes glycine and acetylcysteine powder with creatine daily. Okay, good. So we will talk about all that kind of stuff here in a little bit after we do a brief meditation, because we might have to cut this one a little bit short because I've got a lot going on today. Got to go meet one of you guys for some physical drop-off of the Viking granular nutrients. And so we need to make sure that we're places on a timely manner, okay? So guys, let me know what kind of supplements are you taking, yeah, and why. That's one very important thing. So we will talk about all of that kind of stuff. What's up, Gary Taproot? Haven't seen you here in a while. So we will talk about that kind of stuff, okay? First thing we want to do, though, is get the mind right. So we're just going to do a brief meditation. Now, this meditation is, there's only one type of meditation, really, but it will be brief. And so it will be the kind that I will occasionally do, or that you can do several times a day, all right? And so it's just really nice and focused. So whatever you're doing, just pause and let us take 3 deep conscious breaths. And as we take the breaths, on the exhalation, it's very important that you allow a wave of relaxation to come over the entire body, and you sink deep into the relaxation. So let us breathe fully in. Hold. Let it go. And sink deeply into the relaxation. Again, breathe deeply as you can. Hold. Let it go. Let the relaxation wash over you. Last one. Breathe fully in. Hold. Let it go. Relax the face. Relax the jaw. Relax the shoulders. Deeply relax the face. Very important. With each exhalation, we are letting the wave of relaxation spread over the body. No need to think of anything in particular. Empty the mind. Focus only on relaxing the body as deeply as possible. Feel the inner energy field of the body. When you completely relax the body, there is a type of electricity that flows through the body because you have gotten out of the way. Feel this energy. Feel this life force circulating through the body, circulating through the hands, Remain completely relaxed. Breathing in and breathing out. Nothing else is happening. Nothing. Feel the peace from a quiet mind. Feel the stillness that is around you. Make no thought. Just feel the stillness and the silence. Even if there are noises in your environment, there is still an ever-present silence. Feel deeply the relaxation and the stillness and the silence. Let us take 3 deep conscious breaths, breathing fully in. Hold. Let it go. Again, breathing deeply as you can. Hold. Let it go. Last one. Fill the lungs. Hold. Hold. Let it go. So guys, the more that you practice the meditations, the more consistent your practice becomes, the faster you are able to reach what I sometimes refer to as 0 point, the absolute stillness from which all things emanate, the center and circumference of all things. No thought, no emotion, no energy in motion, just absolute stillness, silence. And so, when you're in your day-to-day life and something is, you notice you have lost your center, or you've perceived to have lost your center, it's actually never goes anywhere, but you perceive to be out of balance, that is a wonderful tune-up. 3 minutes, 4 minutes, that's all it takes. Just sink deeply into the relaxation. Find the 0 point. No thought. Don't think about the future or what you have to do in 5 minutes. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. It's just now. And you will see that with practice, of course, you will be able to recondition your nervous system. That's ultimately what one thing it's doing. The consistent meditation practice is to recondition the nervous system so that in your day-to-day life, with something that's got you hype, you can whoa, total stillness, total peace, 0 point. Just like that. And it can take a few breaths, and then you can come back into the world and you're charged, you're supercharged. It resets the life force energy. Remember what we talked about last week and the previous week about the what sleep does and how it recharges us from the ether. We don't plug into anything, and yet the sleep recharges us because we can absorb energy when we get out of the way. And so you can do something like that through deep meditation for sure. It can re-energize you, it can refocus you, and it doesn't have to be a half hour of sitting meditation. First, let me light the incense and then go to my specific little closet and get the picture of the guru and say this Om Namah Shiva 25 times. You know, you don't have to do all that. You can, but over the years, I found it's just distracting and unnecessary. All you need is to drop in to the 0 point. So, yes, we will do that sometime. Not today, but definitely we will do this. Okay. What's up, Dizzy Wiggles? Good to see you here. Mathix, hello, my friend. Just joined. Okay, good. Hello, Pam from South Africa. Yes. Yes, you're welcome, Sam. Definitely. So, guys, we got the question from one of you about the protein powders and the supplements and stuff like that. Okay, so this is actually very relevant and it crosses both channels, the topics of both channels. And so, is this mic working? Is this mic working? I think it is. So it crosses the topic of both channels, and that is because they're one and the same. Yeah. So when we talk about supplements, vitamins, supplements, protein powders, and things like that, we have to be very clear about the distinction. So there's essentially two different types of things that we can say here. All right. One is foods, and then one is supplements. So supplements, for our practical purposes, uh, are going to be things like supplements are vitamin or mineral, usually chemical, laboratory made substances that have been extracted to specifically give you that specific vitamin or mineral or element or nutrient, whatever it is. And so, as opposed to a whole food, which is not really a supplement, it is a whole food in its whole state. It is just often powdered. So, for example, and I'm going to show you guys some stuff here. I've got a whole bag of stuff that I want to show and explain to you. But for example, so maca root powder, okay? This is the only ingredient is the maca root. They dry it and powder it, okay? So this is not a supplement. This is a whole food. It is no different really for our philosophy, our way of thinking and living. It is no different really than the greens powder that I used to make more than I do now, but from kale, you know, I would take a bunch of kale, dry it out, dehydrate it, powder it, and then I can add that into the smoothies over the winter time when there was no fresh greens. It really is not any different than that. So we don't call these kind of things supplements, right? A supplement would be something that people often take in order to compensate for what they know intuitively probably is a poor diet, a lacking diet. And I see this all the time now, and it's so unfortunate that people are taking 5 different kinds of vitamins, you know, and thinking, okay, well, I'm good to go, you know, because their diet is not well rounded. Now, remember, you can have a diet that is not toxic, okay, eaten clean, super clean, but it's just lacking in all kinds of things, okay? And I see that a lot in vegetarian, vegan type worlds and things where the diet isn't super toxic, but it's definitely lacking in all kinds of things. So usually you will see those kind of people taking actual supplements, vitamin D, vitamin B12. Definitely the vegans are taking B vitamins for sure. And choline, they can take different kinds of all these mineral vitamin supplements that you should be getting from food. Now, why should we be getting them from food? Is because the way that this organism has evolved and adapted to this particular life support system, which is this planet. Yeah. We evolved, and I use that term lightly, so you guys know that when I say evolved, I don't in any way mean an upward trajectory, that we're somehow better than we have ever been in any way. There's no better. It's perfectly flat. So it's just different. It's just adapted. Okay, you just continually adapting to the environment is what is happening. We're not like better than our ancestors in any way whatsoever. So I want to make that very clear. So we evolved, we adapted to this environment to eat whole foods in as close to their natural state as possible, lightly preserved, dehydrated, or salted with whole sea salt, okay? Not potassium nitrates and all kinds of things like this. So we, our ancestors were eating whole foods. They were eating the whole animal as well. They didn't just have factory farming where they could get just the cuts of ribeye steaks. We were at Costco yesterday, and you can just get packs and packs of just ribeyes. Okay, but that's so deeply lopsided from how this organism evolved. It's still really good to be eating that kind of stuff, the meat like that, but we evolved to be eating also the liver, also the heart, also the brains, also boiling the bones and drinking the broth, and also every part that was edible. So this you will really understand this a lot when you perhaps, like, for example, if you guys get a whole cow like I do from Jerry Bates, the beef farmer. You get a whole cow, okay, and you see that it's cut up into a number of different cuts, but you don't get like 57 T-bone steaks. You know, you get like a few of those. You get a few of the chuck roast. You get a few of the arm roast. You get a few flank steaks. You get a few of these, few of those. Then you get a bag of suet. You know, the fat. Although Jerry's don't have much on it because they're 100% grass fed. You get a little bit of the fat, then you get a big bag of the bones, then you get the hearts, then you get the livers, then you get the kidneys, and this time they gave us the testicles as well. So I, I haven't yet got myself to the point of eating raw bull testicles, you know, or eating raw testicles, but maybe. I'm not ruling it out, okay? But you will notice that when you start buying your beef like that, it's like, oh, okay, wow. So it makes a lot more sense to the whole nose to tail kind of thing, that you need to be eating diversity, especially connective tissues and things like this. Okay, so the whole, so I'm trying to ingrain into the mind, always think of the whole. So when problems arise in the health of this organism, is when the human mind goes against what nature has adapted it to thrive in. And so when we start extracting individual elements, that is when we run into problems. Always. That's when we run into problems. So when you start extracting just B12 and consuming just B12, well, nowhere in nature for hundreds of thousands of years, and we have to use that as a guide. That's the ultimate guide. You have to look, what have we adapted to? What environment have we adapted to? Did we evolve for thousands and thousands of years eating vitamin B12 in some kind of pantothenic acid, formula? No, we didn't. You eat the whole beef, you eat the whole or the whole egg, whatever it is, and you get not only the B vitamins, but you get the other vitamins. Okay, and with the eggs, you get vitamin D, you get the choline, you get the saturated fat, you get the cholesterol. Very, very important. So you're getting these nutrients. Okay, but we are taught in the modern world, and remember, I used to work at Vitamin World and be all up in that whole world of bodybuilding and supplements and everything. But we are taught that you need to dissect the body and the nutrition into separate pieces. It's the Western way to do that. Okay, it's the Western way to do things. Is the Western medicine. You dissect each body part has a specialist that you go to, and they don't even communicate with each other because they treat the body as if it's not a unified whole, that it's just one part, okay, one part here, and you're treating the symptoms of each individual part. We do the same with nutrition, and we think that, okay, well, I need more B vitamins, or I need more vitamin C, so I'm going to take 50,000 IU of this vitamin. I'm going to take tons of this vitamin here. But what we don't see is that all of the supporting factors are not there. So when we consume a whole food, all of the other elements that are necessary for the absorption of those nutrients and those elements are there in their proper form that we've already been adapted to consuming. So it's not that I don't have a personal vendetta against whoops I don't have a personal vendetta against the supplement companies or anything like that. But the problem is that when people think that they're getting really healthy by taking a huge array of different supplements, it's actually opposite to the truth, opposite to the real way. Things like that can become super toxic so fast because we don't have the supporting elements. So let us just examine further what I mean by that, in the sense that in the modern world, we will take salt, which is 80, between 72 and 82, depending on the source, different minerals, all of which required by the human body. Okay. It's a wonderful source of nutrients. Okay. Some would say we came from the salt. We came from the salt water. And so our blood is saline. Yes. Has a very high concentration of salt. Salt is extremely good for us. Okay. When you go to the hospital, what is the very first thing they do? They put in a saline solution to rehydrate you, to lower the blood pressure. All right. Salt, very important. But what has happened in the modern world is that with our thinking, of course, we have extracted just the sodium chloride, and we do other things with all the other elements and then process it, and we table salt and say, well, you need iodine as well. So we put iodine in there for an anti-caking agent. So we take that salt, your McDonald's French fries and all different kinds of things, table salt, Morton's salt, any of that. When you see salt on the package of most things, if it doesn't say sea salt, it just means table salt, which is just sodium chloride. Now, when you consume that, all those other 81 different minerals are not present. And so the body doesn't know how to process that because it never it adapted to that. And so it has it wreaks havoc in the body. And so then we come into, okay, well, salt's bad. Salt's bad then. Gives you high blood pressure and does all kinds of bad stuff. Sodium chloride does. Just pure sodium chloride. But if you have all of the supporting elements that come naturally in the whole sea salt, then you have everything that you need to properly absorb and assimilate this. So do you understand that that is one way of looking, or that is one example of how we do things in the modern world and why there's so much illness and disease? Yes, because we're dissecting everything into its parts. And we can, so remember, the soil and my body are one. And so we can look at the soil and the way that the plants function. It's really easy. A lot of you know this already, that the way that the plant functions, the plant cannot absorb certain minerals and nutrients if other ones are not present in a particular ratio for a lot of them. Yes? So when we look to the plants, and we can see that, I mean, if you're into like high stakes growing, then you have to study that, and you know exactly what nutrients have to be there. And you can see that a deficiency of this nutrient can lead to a lockout of this nutrient. So that even if tons of this nutrient is present, it can't be absorbed because the other supporting nutrients are not there. It is the same way with our body. And so when you start dissecting things into different vitamins and focusing on that, you will have issues because you're throwing it out of balance. Very similar way with the diets that everybody is on, or the way of thinking. Okay, I'm keto or something, so okay, I'm going to totally eliminate a whole entire macronutrient. Nope, I'm going to point my finger at carbs. Carbohydrates are the bad. They're detrimental. They turn to sugar in the body. Oh, it's horrible. All carbs are bad. That's a very modern Western way of thinking of things. Okay, so what do those kind of people often do? Well, so long as you're not consuming carbs, everything's going to be fine. So you'll have a keto pizza where the crust is made of cauliflower, but yet you've got cheese, you've got pepperonis filled with nitrates and all kinds of other uh, uh, just horrifying things. Those kind of processed things are terrible for the body. Potassium nitrates, saltpeter, Prague number 8, Prague powder number 8. Yes, sausage, stuff like that. Okay, so there's my pizza. It's a keto pizza. There's no carbs, but there's all this other toxic garbage, preservatives that is in there, and this sludge to my system. But there's no carbs. So do you see how out of whack that is? That they can be eating pounds and pounds of nitrate infested bacons and things, but there's no carbs, instead of eating some high quality homegrown potatoes or some good quality, some clean eating white rice or some sweet potatoes with your vegetables and meats. It's the balance. Yeah. So that is my rant on the need for wholeness. When you consume the whole foods in their whole, as close to their whole state as possible, then you're going to do one of several things, which I'm going to illustrate here in a moment. But I want to see what you guys are talking about. So, yes. Oh, that's true. Yeah. They also don't many times give us the entire cow. You have to make sure they give you everything. Yeah. You have to specifically request. Yeah. You have to specifically request. The Amish guys that I picked up this last cow from was like, hey, so I see that you eat everything, kidneys and all that. How do you go about eating the testicles? And I didn't know that they gave them to me at that time because I just said I want everything. They were like, how do you go about eating the testicles? And I was like, and I was looking at these big old things like that. And I was like, I'm not sure yet. Exactly. And so we all kind of laughed, but we'll see. We'll see. So that Freebird, you need to hit up Jerry, Jerry Bates Family Farm at Yahoo. Get you a quarter of a cow or something, and got to get on his list. 100% grass fed. He's in central Indiana. We had a guy come up from Texas to get some of Jerry's beef, so it's worth anything. The drive. But that's what I consume, the liver from Jerry. And so the liver, guys, beef liver is the most nutrient dense thing on the planet. All right. And so you start eating that. That's how I broke for 2 years, I was vegetarian when I was basically living at the temple, teaching meditation, meditating all the time, constantly, doing all these different spiritual, religious type practices. And the monks are vegetarian. So I was, with them most of the time. And so we were just eating vegetarian all the time. And because I knew that my body was toxic from the handful of years before coming back, in the mountains. So my body, I knew the healing power of plants. I knew that, and so I just went full on vegetarian, just plants, 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 plants. And that's how I come to the understanding after 2 years that it's incomplete. It's incomplete. I don't care what anybody says. It's incomplete. And so for me, the circles under the eyes and the lethargy and the huge bloated, lots of bloatedness and stuff. If you watch my master cleanse tutorials and things, that's when I was totally vegetarian. I don't look that healthy. I'm not bursting with life like I am now, in the same way. So after those 2 years, I got a strong craving for beef liver. I don't understand why. I was like, huh. And so I went to the butcher and just got some beef liver and sliced it up, put maple syrup on it because I watched Liver King. You guys know Liver King is kind of a joke, but he got me into the raw beef liver, because I seen him doing it. And I was like, oh, you can eat raw beef liver? And I see him doing it. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll give it a try. And I did that, put some sea salt and some maple syrup on there and ate it raw, and was just, after the very first bite, after the blood touched my lips, my body was like, yes. And I did it. I swallowed it with a little bit of water and was like, oh my God. My body like woke up. my senses woke up to that, and I ate a good portion of it. And so every day thereafter, I started eating it, and then I got into the raw bone marrow. So I went to the butcher again, got some raw bones, started carving out that bone marrow and eating that, and was just like, oh man. And I noticed huge differences right away. And then I started eating meat again. And for me, that's the diet. That's the way to go. Focused around high quality grass fed beef, supplemented with all sorts of vegetables. In the growing season, it's green vegetables mostly, lots of leafy greens. We stir fry all the time. And then a clean carb source, such as potatoes. We eat a lot of potatoes and sweet potatoes. Yes. And sometimes beans, although I've dramatically laid off the beans, because when I was vegetarian, I was on eating beans and lentils for every day. It was just a bloated mess. I mean, uncomfortable. I thought, oh, we'll just give it time, because I knew about the gut microbiome and how, you need to adapt and adopt these specific microorganisms to be able to digest that kind of thing. It just never happened. It was just like, it just kept bloated. After 2 years, it never really happened. So it's, and then once I switched to meat focused, yeah, but then, like I said, with every meal, lots of vegetables. I never even considered going carnivore like that, because again, it's totally lopsided in my opinion and experience. And so after I did that, man, things felt good. No bloatedness, very regular, and it just kept deepening over the next several years. I kept getting led to different foods and different things, and just kept feeling better and better and better. Yeah. So this is absolutely true. Shikota says same way with THC isolated is not the same as full spectrum. This is true. When I used to consume that plant many years ago, it's been going on 7 years of 100% no mind and mood altering substances, which is pretty wild to even say that. But the when I was still in that life, back then, and I was growing it and stuff, it's night and day difference, because they was just starting to get into all the concentrates and all of the dabs and all that stuff with the blowtorch and the skillets and all that kind of stuff, and to where it just totally isolated 97% THC, all that kind of garbage. That was a totally different experience than the stuff that the old schoolers showed me how to grow purely organically in the full sun, full season. Not even greenhouse stuff. We're talking just outside in Northern California sun, 100% organic. That kind of stuff, when you would consume it, was very grounding, very, very just kind of just made you want to be in the redwoods. It was amazing. And the other stuff was like anxiety inducing, paranoia, and so it's the same. Anywhere you look at it, for the most part, it is going to be like that. Yeah. So the teats, yeah, you got to get off the kosher salt. Kosher salt is highly processed as well. Yeah, a lot of people think it's good. It's not. You need to get onto the Himalayan pink salt, okay, or the Celtic sea salt, or the Redmond's real salt. It's very similar to Himalayan pink salt. They all come from the sea. Those are all sea salts. It just that the Himalayan salt, that sea evaporated 220 million years ago instead of 6 months ago, like the Celtic sea salt does. So those types of salt are very good. You need the full spectrum of minerals, okay? And then once I started, so after I got to the, one second. Oh, after I got to the stage where I was not into the vegetarian anymore, then it started leading me for the next several years into all these different kinds of foods, and whole foods, and not supplements like it was in the past and stuff. So here are many of the things that I would highly recommend because I take them. Now, in my experience, these are not, in my philosophy, these are not supplements. Okay, there's no supplements here. Nothing is extracted from any other thing. So they're whole foods. They're all whole foods. Now, Shilajit is a concentrated source of the minerals. Okay, so this is one of the top things that I would say. When I was in India, traveling through India, and I spent a lot of time in the Himalayas and stuff. This stuff was everywhere. This is the foundation of Ayurvedic medicine. Tons of different trace minerals, but also fulvic acid. Lots of fulvic and humic acids, which help to dramatically increase the absorption rate of other nutrients. So, and you only need a tiny little bit, guys. I think this might be in the Viking storefront. You can get if you get it on sale, you can get 5 of these for $100. One of these will last you a month, give or take. You just take a dab of it. I put it into warm water with a huge thing of raw, unsalted butter in the morning, and then I drink it. Yeah. And this stuff, probably, if you're only going to do one thing out of all of this, it would be the Shilajit, for sure. I mean, for sure. Dramatically improves testosterone production, all kinds of things like this. Now, again, when we go through these supplements, you understand that I'm not going to get deep into, although I could do a special on each one, but I'm not going to get too deep or scientific into like the specific effects of each one, because what they do is they all work synergistically to enhance the natural systems of the body. Okay, this is very different. For example, a lot of guys, now you'll see, hey, if you're over 40, you got to get on TRT. You got to get on hormone, testosterone replacement therapy because you got low T. You know why that's so popular now? Is because people's lifestyles are so toxic that their body doesn't produce nearly the amount of testosterone that a man used to. Okay. And so they're like, well, it's just natural. It just happens with aging. It's just natural. So you need to, if you're over 40, you got to get on TRT. No, it's because your lifestyle is toxic and your body is not able to produce what it needs to produce. And so what appears to be the easy way out is TRT. We should do a whole special on that. Hormone replacement therapy. I've got so much to say and experience with that. So, I don't want to get too deep into it here right now, though. But now I forget the exact numbers, but listen, guys, oh man, I wish I remembered the exact number, but it's something like this, okay? The average man today has 60. Wait, the average man today in 2025 has 60% less testosterone than the average man did when? When do you think that it was? 1950, our great-grandfathers or our grandfathers? 1970? The average man today has 60% less testosterone than the average man did in the year 2000. That was just the other day, basically. And so that is how dramatically testosterone levels in men in the West has plummeted. It is a epidemic. It is seriously a catastrophe epidemic. That is the hormone that gives you the spirit, the fighting spirit. That is the hormone that gives you the spirit of the Viking, of adaptation, of all kinds of things, enthusiasm and lust for life. That is the master hormone for men. And so you need to do everything you can to make sure that this hormone is balanced, not by taking artificial veterinary grade hormones. No, by optimizing your body's ability to produce its own. So we will have a whole special on that because it's a system that you got to do. This is foundational part of it, though. Number one is you got to cut out the toxins. You got to cut out the toxins. You got to cut out the endocrine disruptors. Are you guys familiar with endocrine disruptors? Yes? These are chemical compounds that mimic hormones in the body. And so let me just briefly explain it to you. The body sends and receives hormones, okay? Sends them and receives them. They're called receptor sites where they're received. And so an endocrine disruptor mimics the key, the shape of the key, we'll say, of certain hormones, and so it locks in to that particular hormone receptor site, and it doesn't allow the actual hormone from your body to reach the receptor site. Do you understand? And so your body thinks that it's already full, but it's not. It doesn't have the hormone, and so we're not producing testosterone, and we're producing too much estrogen, the men, and things like this. Tons of detrimental effects from this. It's more complicated than that, but that's what it boils down to, is that your receptor sites are already getting filled with endocrine disruptors. And they're everywhere. They're everywhere. They're in your deodorant. They're in your shampoo. They're in your cologne. They're in your toothpaste. They're in every piece of plastic that there is. They're in the rainwater now. They're in exhaust fumes. They're just everywhere. It's insane. It's totally insane. Okay. Yes, Silver Sage, switch to the Celtic sea salt and feel the difference. Definitely. So listen, let's see. Oh, I'm way behind. I didn't think that there was any comments here. Okay. But so what I want to do is just go through this stuff real quick. Okay. So what the goal is not to take external exogenous hormones. The goal is to optimize your body's ability to naturally regulate its hormones. Okay. You do not want to be taking external hormones. So in order to optimize, you need all the vitamins and minerals. All right. Very important: zinc, magnesium. Now, so many people, it's just easier to take zinc and magnesium, but it's in a chemical form. I don't care where you claim it's from. It's in a chemical form. If you're taking it like that, buying a supplement, and it is out of balance because it doesn't have the other minerals in it. So, for example, if we want zinc, okay, or magnesium, which is very important. Magnesium, very important for high quality sleep and for high quality digestion. Okay, magnesium is highly important. It's imperative for the muscular contractions in the GI tract. Okay, in the colon, the intestine, the perisystolic movements. They require ample amounts of magnesium to function properly. So if you've got a sluggish digestion, hard to eliminate, which is a bad thing, then you really need more magnesium. Now, a lot of people would go to the supplement store and get magnesium. Okay, well, what form of magnesium? The best form of magnesium is going to be whole foods, okay? Hemp hearts, guys. These things are unbelievable. Organic hemp hearts. Look on the... this is what you always got to do. It's got to be basically one ingredient. Organic shelled hemp seed. That's all there is. Okay? Hemp hearts. Now, when you look at it, these things are an absolute marvel of nutrition. Look at that. In 2 tablespoons, you're getting 10 grams of plant-based protein without a ton of fiber, which is fine. Fiber is definitely overrated in the West. 16 grams of high quality fats. And then look at the vitamin and mineral spectrum here, okay? So magnesium is kind of hard to find in a lot of things. But one thing, look at here, 50% of your daily value in just 2 tablespoons of this stuff. That is why my shake has 4 tablespoons. My daily shake has 4 tablespoons, just so I make sure that I'm getting ample amounts of magnesium, manganese, riboflavin, thiamine, all the good stuff, iron. Super important. Okay. Hemp hearts, something you should be taking all the time. All right. Now, another thing is going to be cacao powder. Okay. Just the only ingredient is organic cacao. All right. And so this is something that we can take for all the phytonutrients. Also has good amounts of magnesium, zinc in it. But this is something that we take for the phytonutrients, the polyphenols, lots of things that don't show up on your nutrient list. It's bursting with them, okay? Helps to optimize the systems of the body. And this is what is important, is the optimization of these bodily systems so that the body can do what it naturally does anyways. High quality fats. This is beef tallow. I also use lard. very high quality, nothing to fear. Okay, full of saturated fats, full of high quality. The saturated fats are just so important. All right. Also vitamins and minerals. So we won't get too deep into that, but you should be cooking with animal fats. Pasture raised hogs, very good. Grass fed, grass finished beef tallow, very good. Now, a lot of people want to take a supplement. Oh, well, I'm taking turmeric supplement. Okay, so that's one thing, usually a chemical extraction of the supplement. But the best way to take it is to grow your own turmeric and then ferment it. Okay, and then take a small spoonful here and there with a fat. Now, this is fermented with black pepper inside. Okay, so it's just turmeric, homegrown turmeric, and black pepper. And the pepperin in the black pepper reacts with the curcumin in the turmeric and helps for a lot better absorption. Big time anti-inflammatory properties. Okay. Now remember, these aren't like Western pills. It's not like, well, take this one pill for this exact thing. These are all, they work holistically. They work all together to optimize the systems of the body. So a couple times a week, take a small spoonful of this turmeric. That's everything you need. You don't need a turmeric supplement. This is going to be so much better anyways, okay? Yes, Sam, makes it more bioavailable, exactly. Yes, silver sage. Lard is from hogs, okay? And tallow is from cows. And so you want to get the pasture-raised lard. Very high in vitamin D. Very high in vitamin D, okay? So yeah, RK, it can take a long time, and you have to make sure that you're getting the living stuff. It's difficult. It can be difficult to do, yes. But even then, if you can just go and buy some, from, that's still much better than any supplement can be. I don't care what the supplement companies say. And guys, I'm understanding, like now that, I mean, I worked in the supplement industry, but now that I'm in even the fertilizer industry, and I'm getting the fertilizer legitimized and all that stuff's legal now, the regulations are such a joke. They're such a joke. It's just the Wild West. I mean, for supplement companies, you can just kind of say whatever you want. I mean, it's unbelievable. It doesn't even have to be true. You can just say whatever you want, basically. I mean, that's what it boils down to. And I'm realizing the same is true with the fertilizers. I thought that I was going the legitimate route. I mean, I was like sending it to the actual A&L Great Lakes laboratories and stuff like that, and blah blah blah. I'm just learning a lot, you know, which I already knew about a lot of that. But anyways, so another one, guys. Okay, this one, the goat weed. Okay, this stuff is well, just trust me, you want to be taking it. Okay, you want to be taking it. It's got very particular effects on blood flow, we can say. Okay, so that will be, we'll get deeper into that in the course. Okay, that'll be like course material, but very, very powerful, very important. These all work synergistically. Okay, so it's not, and for men's sexual health, yes, that's what we're talking about. Of course, it's one thing that we're talking about. But again, you don't dissect it and go, how do I improve my sexual function? You go, no, how do I optimize the total systems of the body so that a healthy body will have a strong, robust libido, will have a strong, robust ability to perform. That's just what the natural, healthy, testosterone flowing body can do. Okay, so it's not like what's the one pill I take that will make me skyrocket libido. It doesn't work like that. You have to optimize the systems, and then you will naturally feel it. Yes. Another one that's very important is ginseng. Okay, now there's two different kinds of ginseng. Now this one, to me, so there's the Panax ginseng and the I forget the other one, the American ginseng. This is basically Korean ginseng. The other one's the American ginseng. Now this ginseng, Panax red ginseng, is much more stimulating. Okay, but without none of these things are like a caffeine stimulation. These are like just a mild they're a type of energy that is not stimulatory. It's hard to explain. It just comes from like deep within. It's a deeply rooted kind of energy, not like a stimulation you get from like caffeine or taking some kind of drug or something like that. Nothing like that. It's totally different. There's no come down. There's no side effect. It's just all around feeling good. Yeah. Um, so you guys are talking about rendering. Yes. The water method, yeah, it's much more troublesome to do. But like Aaron Johnson says, if you're going to do lotions, it's the best way. Uh, if you're going to do it just for cooking, it's kind of troublesome. But it's still, if that smell kind of puts you off a little bit, then yeah, the water definitely purifies it. So just look up the water method, and it's very nice. But did it for years without the water method, and it's perfectly fine so long as you put it as low as possible. Look at the tutorial that I made several years ago on that. Okay. um, yes, a feeling of well-being. That's exactly what it is. So here's another one, guys, very important: ginkgo biloba powder. Okay, this is for again, all around adaptogen, but it has been clinically shown to improve blood flow to the brain. It's amazing, specifically the way that these compounds work, improving blood flow to the brain in particular. It helps with memory, it helps with mental clarity, it helps with just sharpness. Yeah, they're all work together. Now, the tongkat is very important. It really helps to optimize hormone system. For men, it will help testosterone production. Women, it also helps testosterone and estrogen production. It's not like, but remember, this is not a supplement. A supplement would be where we're taking testosterone, like pumping testosterone enanthate or testosterone cypionate or whatever it is. Uh, but then you've got to take aromatase blockers and all kinds of other drugs and stuff. But instead, we're going to take this stuff, and it will, these are all ancient Chinese medicine herbs that they've known for thousands of years. Optimize the systems of the body. Here's a big time one, guys, but it can tend to make you a little bit drowsy. So I take it at night only. Yeah, right before bed, basically. So there's others, but we're gonna run out of time, and I got to go and meet my buddy to pick up some of the fertilizers. So this is pretty much the rundown, guys. Those are several things that we can take. Now, is there a need for protein powders? Absolutely not. Okay, what do you think? After what I just described, this whole past 50 minutes, is there a need for protein powders? Absolutely not. Okay, um, because you are dissecting. The protein powders came about because they didn't know what to do with the extra whey, with the extra byproducts of other industries. And so they can be horrible for digestion. You're not getting all of the other enzymes that come with it that help with the digestion of the lipids and the proteins and things. They throw you out of balance. They can turn rancid, and it's not in its whole form. So if you feel like you need protein, my shake recipe, which I don't know where if I've ever posted it, but raw milk, raw eggs, and raw honey and molasses and all those herbs that you just saw, and hemp hearts and pumpkin seeds every day. Blend it all up in the Vitamixer and drink it down. That thing's got like 70 grams of protein. I put it all into ChatGPT, and it pumped out exactly what the full amount is. Even collagen powders. So I'm sorry if you sell collagen powders. There's nothing against you, but bone broth is far superior to any collagen powder that there can be, because the bone broth has got the whole thing in its natural state. So how much of these collagen powders are you absorbing? Where are they coming from? You make bone broth in the way that I do, you're getting all the connective tissue, you're getting all the other things that help you to properly absorb and assimilate. All right. So the someone says something about the yeah. Well, Elvin, yeah, I did get the license for the fertilizer because at least in my state, I have to be certified, to sell it. So until I run into something else, I'm complying with as many things as I can possibly get into, comply with. Okay. So let's see if there was any more. Okay. Hmm. So that's what we've got going on. So guys, if you want any kind of okay, you don't sell it. It says it's from free range beef. I still, I mean, I'll stand very firm in that and say there's no way it could compare to homemade bone broth. Now, a lot of people will say, well, I don't got the time for all that. Well, it just depends. How important is health to you? How important is abounding health? Remember this, guys. The sick man, wait, the healthy man has many dreams, but the sick man has only one, and that's to be healthy. Yes? The healthy man has many dreams. The sick man has only one. And this is so true. There is nothing more important than vibrant vitality, health, well being, yeah, and helping others that we care about achieve the same experience in this life. So, guys, let me know in the comments if you want other topic discussions. There's way more we can get into with all this. Eventually, we will do the psychedelic topic, definitely, maybe even next week. We will also do the testosterone or straight up hormone optimization routine. Okay, so we can do all that stuff. All right, guys. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for everything, and we will see you next week. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say. Infinite Spirit goes before me and opens the way. Infinite wisdom tells me what to do and what to say.